Hi, everyone. Welcome to the University Honors Program. We're so glad you're here virtually. We are going to get started. My name is Bria Howard, and I'm one of the assistant directors and honors advisors for the University Honors Program. And I will not be in your face long. You are going to hear from some great students about our program and their experience with our program. I'm just here to give you a brief overview of what our program is and just a brief overview. So we do want to encourage you to ask questions if something does come up. There is a chat box, I believe, to your right of your screen, and we encourage you to use that to ask any questions that you might have during the whole course of this orientation session. So like I said, you'll hear from students, any questions that you have for me. Just go ahead and put that there, and we'll try to answer that to the best of our abilities. This session is being recorded, just so you know. We do want to let you know that this session is going to be recorded. And students, you should have probably already watched our orientation PowerPoint that's found on our website to better understand the program itself. We're not going to get into the nitty-gritty of things, but you should have access to that on our website, and you can go ahead and take a watch for more details. So our honors program is a little different than I think most honors program in that our honors program is strictly experiential, not strictly, but experiential overall. We're not going to have you take harder chemistry classes, harder classes, what you might think a traditional honors program is, but more so experiential learning. So we want you to take advantage of experiences that are outside of the classroom and then reflect on that after you're able to do that. So some examples of experiences that we have students do are they learn how to play a musical instrument, travel, study abroad pre-coronavirus. But once that is lifted, a lot of our students study abroad for their experiences, doing research, being a leader in their organization that they're a part of. Honors experiences can just overall, the span is so broad, and that's what we love about our program, because it's so individualistic in that you can make the program what you want it to be through your honors experiences. You're going to hear from a few students in a minute about what they've done and some examples that they've taken advantage of through our program. The possibilities are really endless. I always tell my students, if it takes any blood, sweat, or tears, it can probably be an honors experience. So you're going to hear some examples from that. We do want to encourage you to make sure that you are registered for the Gateway to University Honors course. It's a 1-credit mandatory class that you'll take this fall. And even in that class, you'll get even more information about how to create an honors experience. It is, like I said, mandatory for you to be in our program is to take this course. It's 1 credit hour. And I always tell people you have to want to fail it in order to, it's not going to be hard, but basically an overview of our program and to get you acclimated to what we believe as a program. You'll talk with your honors advisor this fall about some honors experiences. They'll help you tease out any ideas you have and hone in on what you really want to do. So without further ado, I am going to bring to you our first student, who is Audrey, or Justice. We have 2 students who are ready to, get you together and for you to learn more about our program. So I'm going to introduce Audrey to you, and she's going to talk to you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Audrey Labeling. I'm a 4th year in Biological Sciences and Environmental Studies, and I've been an ambassador for the UHP program for 2 years, so I love talking about the honors program and what I've gotten to do with it. I've done 2 self-designed research experiences, and I also was a peer leader for the Gateway to Honors course, but the experience that I want to talk to you about today was my very first experience. So the honors program offers study tours, which are semester-long classes where you just take the class and then at some point, either in winter break or spring break, you go on a trip to the place that you were learning about. And so this is a really great way to travel without doing an entire semester abroad. So in the spring of my freshman year, I took the seminar experiencing the Brazilian Amazon. And so during the semester, we talked all about Brazil and the Amazon ecosystem. So we talked a lot about the science and the conservation challenges facing the region, but we also talked about Brazil in general. So the culture and the politics, the history, and we also learned just a little bit of conversational Portuguese. And then each student also developed our own individual project based on our own interests. So since I'm a biology environmental person, I was really interested in the biodiversity of birds along different parts of the river. But other people who weren't necessarily in science took different routes. So there was one student who looked at different sounds in the Amazon compared to Clifton. Someone else looked at different color palettes that appear more in the Amazon versus Cincinnati. And then someone else looked at economy of Brazil. Another person looked at food. So really there was anything that you wanted to explore in Brazil you could do. So we took the class, and then in spring break, we spent 10 days on a boat on the Amazon River. It was the craziest thing I've ever gotten to do. 10 days was really the perfect amount of time because we got to do a lot, and it kind of felt like its own little mini lifetime because we were just constantly going new places. Some of the highlights that I loved were visiting the city of Manaus. We got to play soccer with a village of Brazilians, and one of our guides was actually a former professional soccer player, so that was awesome. We got to see a lot of wildlife, like sloths and monkeys. One day we were just canoeing along the river, and one of our guides moved us over to the bank of the river, and he climbed up a tree, and he came out carrying this enormous boa constrictor. And so we all got to hold this boa constrictor, and then it just slithered back up into the trees. It was insane. And we also got to swim with river dolphins, which are apparently a thing in the Amazon. So it was just a lot of the coolest things I've ever gotten to see. I actually have a wall in my room of all the things I got to see because I love looking at it. And, it was just the best experience. And I also got to meet people from UHP that I wouldn't normally get to meet because we had people from engineering and DAP and business. And so we all really bonded over everything. And a lot of those people I'm still really good friends with today, and we still meet up. So it was just a great way to meet people in the honors program that you wouldn't otherwise get to meet. And you get a lot out of the study tours. For me, since I am in environmental studies, the class connected really well to what I'm learning about. But even if you aren't a science person, it is a really good experience because it shows you have a really wide range of interests. And it's something that you can talk about for building resumes because not a lot of people probably have been to the Amazon. So it's just a really awesome talking point. And you also, it's a really great way to travel because it's all planned out for you, and it's actually affordable compared to planning your own trip. And there's also scholarships and grants you can get to help cover the cost. And so this was really an awesome first experience for me because, like I said, it's all planned out and you get to meet people, so you already know people in UHP. And I know that traveling is pretty much impossible right now, but the good news is you guys have 4 years, and we have lots of awesome study tours in the fall and in the spring to places all around the world. So it's a really, really great experience, and I recommend it highly. And then just to close out, I wanted to offer my own piece of advice, which is to not let fear hold you back from trying new things. Because as you're starting college, there might be a lot of really cool clubs or interesting experiences in the honors program that you want to try, but you don't necessarily know anyone yet. Don't let that stop you from going to those meetings and trying new things, because you'll get to meet a lot of new people that maybe share the same interests as you, and you also might discover some new passions. So thanks for listening to me. I hope you guys have a great summer, and maybe I'll see you around UHP.
Hi, so my name is Justice. I am a third year biomedical engineering major. My first, oh, is my mic on? Yeah, okay. Cool, sweet. My first experience, I was in the biomedical research and mentoring program that is through the University Honors Program in partnership with some research labs either on campus or at Cincinnati Children's. So I was placed in a lab at Cincinnati Children's that does pain research. And I've been with that lab since I was placed there in January of last year. Basically, what I do is I run study visits for them. So, you know, how you have a clinical trial and you will go into the hospital and you'll be part of a study and you'll maybe get a medicine or treatment. Ours is similar to that, except we are doing pain research. So we have patients come in and we will administer pain to them in some form, usually through a heat sensor. And then we'll ask them to rate that pain based on the intensity or the unpleasantness. Basically, our goal is to find out more about chronic pain and who's more susceptible to develop chronic pain and what that will look like down the road and how we can predict that. And so that's what I'm working on right now. This summer, I started working on a review paper with my lab. So at the end of the summer, I should be published, which will be pretty awesome because many students do not get into labs very early in their, you know, academic career. So for me to start as a freshman in a lab is kind of a big deal, especially on my resume. So me being in the RAMP program actually got me a co-op position at the Cleveland Clinic in Cleveland last fall. And when I had my interview with them, they asked specifically about my research at Cincinnati Children's because that was so relevant to what, you know, to other research that they were doing. So I mean, there's just a lot that you can do with the experiences that honors provides, and they can have implications farther down the line that you may not even see yet. And then my RAMP continuation was my next experience, and that was basically just me continuing the RAMP program. And I've been there for about a year and a half now. And then the fall, I was supposed to do the Zero Hunger, Zero Waste seminar, but that unfortunately has been canceled. So I'll find something else to do. And then my advice for everyone would be to eat healthy, drink water, and to sleep. I found my freshman year that those were sometimes very hard to remember to do, especially when you just start off in college and, you know, you're the only one taking care of yourself. You don't have your parents there for you to help you, you know, at least for the most people. So you kind of have to remember that your needs are important too, and you got to take care of the basics, and that would be to eat, drink, and sleep. That's it.
So now we are going to open up the floor or the virtual floor for questions. So if you have any questions, definitely feel free to go ahead and type that in the Q&A box, and we'll try to answer them. So we will give you a moment. And it can be questions about the program, for any of our students that spoke, about their specific experience. So the question that we have is it possible to take a UHP seminar during the first fall semester, or do you have to take the gateway course this spring semester, then a seminar in the spring? Thanks. So great question. Definitely should have been mentioned. You are totally allowed to take a UHP seminar your first semester. So when you're scheduling classes with your academic advisor, if you have a course that you're interested in taking through UHP seminar, definitely register for it if you're able to. But there is no policy for us that says you have to take Gateway first or anything like that. You'll take Gateway first, but you can take it your first semester. There's a list of all of our UHP seminars on our website. If you go click around in there, it's under UHP students and then honors experiences. So definitely take a look at our seminars and what we have to offer, because yes, definitely take one if you're able to. Great question. We'll wait for some more if there are. And if it's a question that you feel like is silly, we see it first. So I won't call you out if it is silly, but there is no silly questions. Well, yes. Okay, does a UHP seminar count as an elective requirement for your major? Thanks so much. So it depends. We do have some courses, some UHP seminars that can count toward a BOK or something that goes along with your major. It just really depends on the specific class. But yes, there are some UHP seminars that can count toward, that can double dip, that can also take care of your honor seminar as an experience and an elective for your major. You would need to talk to your academic advisor to see if the two coincide, but some do. Any questions for our students? They would love to answer anything that you might have, especially specific to their experience, whether that be research, study abroad. How is COVID-19 affecting UHP? Great question. We are still figuring that out, I think, as a lot of people are. One thing that how it is affecting us is it's moving to, a lot of our stuff is are being done through a virtual platform. So all of your honors advising appointments will be virtual this semester. So through an avenue like this, we're now discussing as a staff and as a UHP community about what honors experiences might look like virtually. But I think along with a lot of with the university as a whole, a lot of things are being moved virtually. So that's a great question. I think that question is still up and we're still discussing that question. But yeah, a lot of things moved through a virtual platform, whether that be academic advising, whether that be through community building, etc. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, to maybe how you've seen COVID affected UHP now. How much time do you spend when you participate in the research experience? So Justice?
So I probably did, I think, 8 hours a week my first semester when I started off. And because it was so close to campus, I just could take a campus shuttle over to the children's campus. So it's not too hard getting back and forth. So it was pretty manageable to do 8 hours a week for sure. And I did that for the first semester. In the summer, I did about 20 hours a week since I wasn't in classes. And then I went back to 10 in the spring semester. They're very flexible with me about how much I can do. And they are willing to, like, I took off a semester for my fall co-op and then came back in the spring, and that was totally okay with them. And yeah, so I just make the time, find the time. It's not too hard.
I saw that the UHP retreat is now virtual. Can you please talk about the new format, timing, etc.? Great question. So the retreat will not be happening in person. And what that'll look like is it's not going to look like the same as far as a retreat in the traditional sense. What you will do is you'll be put into groups, into small groups, and you'll have a retreat leader, which is an upper class student who is either a sophomore or up, and you'll kind of be in a learning community with them as far as for UHP as a whole. So you'll be put into groups, you'll be able to talk through different questions that you might have. Your group will do some fun games. We've learned about just different virtual games that you can play online and get to know the UHP community as a whole through small groups. You will also have access. We'll be posting some panel discussions as far as like how to get involved on campus, how to get involved on campus virtually like we are now, study abroad, different topics that we have. You'll have access to those panel discussions. So it'll look very different, but you'll still be able, the whole goal of Welcome Retreat is to have foster community from the start. And that's what we still want to do and what we're going to aim to do. But it'll just be done virtually. And timing of that. So timing is going to be intermittent. So you'll be connected with your group leader, and then they'll be contacting you throughout the semester up until around October with different opportunities for you all to meet as a group. How would the community service requirements for my scholarship work this fall term as I am taking online classes? Great question. That, if you're referring to Cincinnati scholarship, there's a whole office for Cincinnati that you could ask those questions. We don't require any community service for our program, so I don't want to tell you the wrong information. I'm not quite sure what they are requiring or what that looks like. So definitely contact the Cincinnati office. I will put in this chat too, when this is over, their contact information for you. But definitely contact them when we are done so you can get the answer to that. What is the state of the honors housing floors? So we have a couple floors, I believe, that are essentially for honor students in halls. So we don't have a specific hall that is honors. We have a floor maybe in a community that are honor students. There aren't specific activities that you all do or anything, but it's just basically a floor that maybe if you have an honor seminar with somebody, you know them, or that you can see a familiar face on the floor. Justice or Audrey, did any of you live in, you can just give me a head shake, yes or no. Did you live on an honors floor? No. Yes, Justice? Okay, do you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, sure. I lived on one of the floors in Turner with 3 other honors students, and it was a really good time. We also all went on the, sorry, my computer. We also all went on the honors retreat together, so we kind of got to bond before we even moved into our dorm. But I would say that the dorm experience, I don't think was all that different from if I were not on the honors floor, except for the fact that it kind of gave me a starting point with my roommates of where to start our relationship and bond from. And I also will say that Turner is a nicer dorm than some of the other ones.
Great questions. You can keep them coming. We can give one more minute, see if you have any burning questions or if you can think of anything. I know sometimes you're probably drinking from a fire hydrant, what feels like, with all this information, especially with the virtual and different things like that. We just want you to know that we are totally, we're with you, we empathize with you, and definitely the feelings of probably being overwhelmed with stuff and yeah, are totally valid. So definitely, if you ever think of anything after this, definitely feel free to send us an email. All of our contact information is on our website, and that's where you can even find out who your honors advisor is based off of your major. So definitely feel free to reach out to us because we know that this is what may feel like a hot mess. And so we're with you through that. So definitely feel free to reach out to us if you think of a question after this is done. Okay, so this is just a final reminder, not final, we'll remind you probably again and again, but the final reminder for this specific time is to make sure you register for Gateway. Your academic advisor should have a note on your file essentially that says, hey, you're in honors, definitely register for this, but in case, you know, everybody's human and life happens, you should definitely take responsibility in saying, I need to be in Gateway to University Honors Program, that course. So definitely register for that because like I said, it is mandatory for you to take and complete and pass for you to stay in our program at the end of your first semester. So definitely register for this course. 1 credit hour, lots and lots of sections. They are all online, but you will have options between a live session like this or, excuse me, completely online to where there's not a session that you have to kind of clock into, but more so you just have to complete the work that's online. So you'll have options for both, but just make sure you register for it. Lots of options for either, like I said, being in sync with your instructor in class versus just completely online. So yes, and that is going to be all that we have. Make sure to register for a fall honors seminar. If your schedule allows, we'd love to have you. Also look out for, I think like the person had asked about welcome retreat, look out for in early August. You should be able to get an email from someone in the UHP family that's going to welcome you and to give you more information about what that's going to look like. So look out for an email in early August. But that's all that we have. Let us know, like I said, if you have any questions, and we'll be happy to answer for you. So have a good rest of your day. Happy Tuesday, I think it is. What is time? So yes.